This is the pre-show.
Pre-show.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. We ready?
You got the intro?
Sure.
Cool.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Hello. Welcome back, viewers, listeners, and now watchers. We are on video now. This is weird. You guys are flipped in real life on the screen.
Oh, that's
so
really true. I didn't think about that.
I'm looking at Mike, but I'm actually looking at Sean. This is really tripping me out. So anyway, welcome to the 2U's podcast in the Pillar to Post Home Inspector studio. I am one of your co-hosts, Chad Casper. I am one of the two cluster fucks, and with me, as always, the other fuck,
Sean Scott. And we owe it to you if you haven't heard us before. There's no I in team, but there are 2U's in cluster fucks, so that's why. We are the 2U's, and also want to note, the 2U's is also brought to you by Spray Foam Genie. And I think Chad had a really good catchy tagline.
Spray Foam Genie. We make your insulation wishes come true. I don't know. I can't remember what I did last week.
Spot fucking on.
Yeah.
It was spot on. It was really good.
3 insulation wishes?
3 insulation wishes.
I like it. I like it.
Fun times. We have a friend of the show here, Mike Seegmiller. He's back, everybody.
He's back.
We couldn't get rid of him. No. Long-time listener, second-time caller,
Attendee.
Second-time guest?
Second-time guest. It's
nice.
like a reoccurring guest. I can't even talk. Why did you have me do the intro today?
Because you've got the
I am sitting in the middle.
Soundboard in front.
I am sitting in front of the soundboard.
You control everything.
I do. I control the world.
You control the world. You're like Pinky and the Brain.
I was actually just going to say, what are we going to do tonight, Sean? And
we do every
try
week.
to take over the world.
Try to not fuck this shit up.
All right, your top 5 list brought to you by ourselves because our sponsors won't start till next week.
Yeah, we don't have a sponsor for the top 5 yet.
That's a good idea, though.
We should have a sponsor for the top 5.
Because I always figure
brought to you by Mike Seegmiller because he's a sexy bitch.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Brought to you by
Steve.
Brought to you by Steve.
I'm trying to think of what sporting event. I'm pretty sure it's NFL football where it's brought to you by State Farm. But it's in between, they're it's in between the kickoff and the you know what I'm saying?
The State Farm kickoff.
But it's always brought to you by, but it's not by, it's by,
By.
And I can't think of who the announcer was back then, but this is way back in my early childhood, so this is probably 30-something years ago when, they actually, had commercials that didn't have fancy graphics and everything and a whole bunch of moving parts where you didn't have robot football players,
Robot football players.
God, I miss Fox NFL Sundays back in the day with the robot football players and John Madden.
I know. Boom.
Right. Okay. Little buddy foo-foo. Okay.
Top 5 list brought to you by
my shirt.
Chad's shirt. We normally have a lot more preparation done in terms of our top 5 list. We didn't, and I looked at Chad's shirt and I said,
a lot
more than we did today.
That's
and
true.
I thought, you know what, we should go with our top 5 comic book characters, aka superheroes. And so we will just go ahead. Let's start
with Mike.
Yeah,
let's let the guest go first. Yeah. All right.
No, all right. We don't go all 5 at one time. So
right.
1, 1, 1.
Okay. So number 5.
Okay.
Wolverine.
Ooh.
It's a. I know you were criticizing yourself beforehand that these are basic bitch choices, but
that's a solid choice.
It's solid.
And I'm I saw a TikTok recently where it was what if Wolverine actually had an authentic Alberta accent? It was pretty funny.
It would have been great.
Like the Saskatchewan from Grown Ups too. Yeah. I love that.
You know that guy committed suicide?
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh dang. Okay.
Yeah, I feel bad bringing that.
Way to bring down the top 5 list.
Bring down the top 5 list, but we talk about men's mental health. We're going to be talking about. We are going to be talking about some serious issues today. So
we got to get it out.
We got to throw it out there.
We got to get it. Wolverine, solid choice.
Okay.
I am actually not upset at that one at all. I like it. I agree with it. You'll be surprised at one of my choices.
Oh,
not surprised, but surprised.
Okay.
Am I going? Are we just going down the line?
Go for it,
okay. Number 5, The Punisher.
Nice.
Like
it's a solid choice.
I think John Bernthal has brought that character back to what the Punisher should be.
So he I don't know if it's already done, but I think on the new Daredevil they're bringing Punisher back.
They did for the first season of Born Again, and he's coming back for season 2.
Okay, gotcha. Because I'm only 2 episodes into Born Again, and so I haven't seen the Punisher yet.
Yeah, they're doing season 2 of that, and then they're doing a Punisher spinoff. And I believe he's supposed to be in the new Spider-Man movie.
Yeah, I did hear that.
So they're doing a street tier Spider-Man and all of his buddies
Yep.
fighting Kingpin, which I'm really stoked about.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm done
Very
with all
nice.
the alien and like warping through dimensions, and I just want
Just plain
just
old.
beat up
Just standard
street
stuff,
dudes.
yeah.
Like, beat up
Right.
dudes on the street. And our video.
No, it's still going.
It's
There's a
still
green light.
going, but
There's
I
a green
can't
light.
see.
It's all good.
Now it's weird.
We know where we are.
Okay.
That's right.
It's all good. Okay. My number 5 is the Hulk.
Ooh.
I like it.
You know,
I like it.
He's like me in the fact that he's just
Always angry.
no.
Always green.
Well, I was
you're a
gonna
spray
say
foam
I was
genie?
gonna say like a big dummy, but I'm a small dummy. You know what I'm saying? He's just like Hulk smash. I'm like, I work on my
Sean,
base
eat
level.
Taco Bell.
I'm like
Like-
pure id. I'm just like okay.
Nice.
I don't really smash much, but if I did,
I like it.
Okay.
I like it. All right, Mikey. Number 4.
Number 4, I have Deadpool. I mean, it went Wolverine, then Deadpool.
All right.
Solid
right.
choice. Ryan Reynolds really
He
brought
is
that
probably
character
the
to life.
best cast character
Obviously
in all of comic
not
book
in the Wolverine, but
Right.
By
Not
the
in
way,
that first one. That
I want
one
to
was-
bring back
we don't
Wolverine
bring
for a second because I really sort of, I really embrace the original Wolverine because he's a little guy,
yeah.
And as a little guy, I really appreciate that. And when they did the Deadpool versus with Deadpool and Wolverine
Oh, yeah,
movie,
when they brought out the
when they
little
brought out the
short
little
king.
mini, oh hey little guy,
Hey,
like
little
he hops
guy.
off his bar stool and
Hey,
he's
comic
like,
accurate
and
Wolverine.
he's
Yes.
and he's my height assholes,
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Number 4, Daredevil.
Nice.
Nice.
I've always thought he was the best written Marvel character in comic book history, for Marvel anyway. Like, just consistency in stories, consistency in the character. Like, I love the show, the Netflix show, which is now a Disney show. I think Charlie Cox does an amazing job with the character. So it's,
Yep.
I love Daredevil.
Yep.
He's super cool.
Yep. My number 4 is Black Widow.
Ooh. I have reasons why I like her, but probably not just because she's a comic book character.
Well, I'm not saying that your reasons and my reasons are going to be that far off.
Probably
it may,
not.
It may be the actor portrayal. I'm not saying one way or the other.
All right.
What I like about Black Widow is that number 1, she's just a normal person. She's not a superhero.
A Russian-trained killer assassin spy is not really a normal person, but
I'm saying
she
that she doesn't have
superhero
superpowers.
Yeah.
Right. There's no superpowers.
Yeah. I got you.
fair.
I got you.
So like a couple, maybe 2 or 3 of mine are people that don't have any extraordinary abilities on their own.
I like it.
That's why I have Punisher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But don't tease mine for later, man. Back off.
Okay, sorry. Sorry.
So
Wrapping around the horn, number 3.
Come on. All right, number 3.
I have Colossus.
Oh, such a good pick.
Love Colossus.
Such a good
I
pick.
read some of the X-Men comics as a kid. Loved him as a character then.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And when he came out in any of these movies, I've just been like, yep.
The
that's
Deadpool version of Colossus is
very good.
bomb.
Yeah.
Very
yeah.
good.
Yep.
Yeah, very impressed with that. That's a good pick, man.
Thanks.
That's a really good pick. That's not basic like white boy like
Okay, so
comic
I
book
didn't
pick.
go all basic.
You didn't. You definitely didn't
Okay.
go basic. Number 3's one's already been said. I'm wearing his shirt. Deadpool.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love Deadpool. Like, I just like that he breaks the fourth wall. And he's just, I don't know. He's just fucking cool.
Or if
hilarious.
you watch the movie, gently taps the fourth wall. Oh, I can gently tap the fourth wall. The proposal.
Proposal. I love how he just makes fun of himself all the time.
Yes.
Like, and nothing is like off limits to him, which is great.
It is.
Well,
yeah, Deadpool.
I think the best part, and I'm going to say something that's not going to be super popular, but when Blade comes back,
Oh yeah.
and he's like, I thought you were retired.
I thought you were retired.
Retarded. No, can't say that. He's like, but I'm like, yeah.
Only been one blade.
Yeah. Only been one blade for a little while longer.
Okay, so my number 3 is the Punisher.
Nice.
All right.
But again, one of those people does not have any superpowers or anything like that. He's just a really pissed off dude.
Yeah.
Right. For good
For good
reasons.
reason.
For,
Yeah.
for
Good
good
reason.
reasons. For good reasons. Yeah.
And I will say that the original, well, I don't want to call it the original, but the first time that
He was portrayed
major
on screen.
studio,
Dolph
the first
Lundgren?
the first
that was
Well
horrible.
played.
the Thomas Jane version
The Thomas Jane one was
with
actually
not bad.
John Travolta.
That's not
yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
Did you ever see Warzone with what's his face?
Good old what's his face?
Ray Stevens.
Yeah.
That one was pretty.
Yeah. Punisher
gruesome.
Warzone. Yeah, that was good.
That one's pretty good. It's pretty dark. I like it. Sorry, I dropped my pen. That was.
But like him pulling his own tombstone out of the ground in the movie, because they thought he was dead. That was pretty cool.
Nice.
yeah.
All right, number 2.
Number 2.
This one is a deep cut.
I like this one. I saw your paper, and I'm excited for this one.
How can you say it's a deep cut and tell us before the show you're a basic bitch?
Nightcrawler. I love Nightcrawler.
I love Nightcrawler.
Nightcrawler.
So they did when they did Nightcrawler.
Such an underrated comic book.
In one of the X-Men movies was Alan Cumming played Nightcrawler.
Yeah.
Recently, I was watching The Good Wife. Don't judge, okay? Don't judge. I watched all 7 seasons.
We
don't
listen,
judge.
I don't
we
judge.
don't judge.
Don't judge.
Nope.
And he plays a very prominent role in that show. And I was like, it's almost like you don't recognize him because he goes from Nightcrawler, he's in
all blue
Cabaret,
makeup,
he's
yes.
he's in this, and I'm like, what can't this guy do? He's amazing,
Fantastic actor.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I love him.
Kurt Wagner.
I love Nightcrawler from the OG X-Men
Cartoon.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yes.
I love that cartoon. We should do top 5 cartoons next
Man,
time.
we'll be here. That's an entire
love it.
episode by itself. We're not even going to talk about mental health. We'll be like,
I'm
cartoons,
writing that down.
motherfucker.
Okay. Cartoons.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Where are we on?
Number two.
Number two?
Number 2.
All right. So this guy used to be my favorite of all time, but then I got a little older and changed, but he's still he's still one of my top favorites. Spider-Man.
Never heard of him.
Yep.
Yeah.
Same.
Never heard of him.
What does he
That
do?
is a
know what
basic
you're
white
talking
about. What does he
boy.
do?
That is a basic white boy answer right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, Spider-Man. And I think because as a little kid, he was a kid, and I think I related to him
'cause
so
he's young.
well because
Yeah.
he's just a kid, and he's like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
Does dumb stuff. And
I'm just going to do
yes.
dumb shit and hope it all works out. And that's kind of how I run my life. Is I'm like, I'm dumb, and I hope shit works out.
Yeah. Plus, his memes are solid.
That's
A lot
true.
of good,
Yes.
the pointing at each
That
other
one
meme.
is the.
It's a
yes,
good.
Yeah.
That one's
It's a good meme.
Yeah. So Spider-Man, my
Okay.
number 2.
My number 2 is also an Ozzy Osbourne song. Iron
love
Man.
it. Yep.
Iron Man.
I knew what you were going with.
Again, billionaire playboy philanthropist.
Yeah.
Doesn't have any powers on his own, however, is smart enough to basically create himself into the most amazing superhero.
He's like a better Batman.
Yeah.
He is.
He's like a better Batman.
That's the hot take of the show. We're going to
Although-
get a lot of hate from our
Although
fans.
let's face it, if Iron Man or Tony Stark could just change his voice like this,
Right.
He
No
could
one would
actually
know.
make Jarvis change the voice inside
one
the
would
suit.
know.
No one would know.
no one would know except for the fact that he just stood in front of everyone and goes, "I am Iron Man."
Iron Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Other than that, okay, and now, drum roll, please. Number 1.
Numero uno.
Spider-Man.
You guys
was
gave me
always-
such shit.
He was always my favorite growing up.
You guys gave me such shit for my basic white boy answer.
Still my fave.
I don't hate you for that at all.
There you go.
I am right there.
All right.
This one is my favorite. In fact, my son is named after this character.
Really? Okay. I know what your son's name is, so I know where you're
So
going
you know
with
where I'm
this.
going.
Yeah.
This is Wolverine. He is my favorite. So
Yeah,
I've always really liked him. I've just I don't know. He's just always like, no matter what happens, he does the right thing.
Yep.
And he's grumpy.
And he's
And
grumpy.
he's very grumpy.
And
he's
he's an
very
alcoholic.
angry, and he doesn't put up with anybody's shit.
Yeah.
So I like Wolverine.
Love it.
Unless he picks
My
up the next
favorite
bottle of alcohol.
Marvel
Boo, boo,
movie of all
boo.
time right now is Deadpool and Wolverine. Just
Yeah.
Really good.
it was so good. Like
So good.
it used to be like Endgame, but then I was like, you know what? No, this one it ekes out. It ekes it out. It was such a good movie.
I will say that one final battle scene with the Avengers assemble when they're all coming through the the portals and everything like that after the snap, and that scene is just legendary
right.
as far as MCU goes.
Sure.
Right? Because you have basically every single Marvel character ever
Just
shows
showing
up for the
up.
battle.
Right.
Right?
But then
on your left, and then all
I don't
of a
know,
sudden
the
he just
first
flies
fight
through.
between Wolverine and Deadpool, to me, that's on par with that last battle in Endgame.
What was
I
that?
don't know.
Or all
Get
of
your special sock ready,
Get your
nerds.
special socks on, nerds. Get your special sock ready, nerds.
Special sock ready, nerds.
I don't disagree with
I like
that.
when he says, "Say one more word," and he's like, "Gubernatorial."
Tutorial.
It's so good. It's so good. Okay.
All right, number uno.
My number 1 is Professor X.
Oh,
Let's
He
face
almost
it.
made my list.
Let's
That's
face
a
it.
good one.
If you everyone's like, well, I don't know. Do you want to fly or do you want to be able to be invisible? No, I want to be able to control people with my mind.
I want to fuck people up mentally and emotionally.
I want to be in their head. I want to control.
He has a lot of self-control
Yeah.
to be that, right?
Okay,
very,
let's face it.
very powerful.
Let's face it. This probably stems from a lot of childhood trauma. We'll talk about in a little bit. The fact
you know
that I
what
want to
would
do
be
that.
fun is an episode on your superhero and their traumas.
right? And how it relates to your trauma.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, hey, I like Nightcrawler because I want to be able to just
Disappear
GTFO.
and like
Because I want to get the fuck out of here.
right. I want to have a tail and hang from the ceiling. Wait, what?
Wait.
No.
But I think like the difference is I want to be able to go anywhere, not something that I can just see, which I think is, he can, but it's like a little more difficult, if he can't see where he's going.
Right.
But that being said, okay, so
That's a solid choice, dude. Like
That is.
I've never like I have this conversation a lot with people because I'm a superhero nerd, but I've never had anybody say Professor X in their top 5 ever.
well, I think the reason people
So, I'm
don't go
impressed.
with that is because he's in a wheelchair, right? And so people like
It's a hovercraft that he got from the Shi'ar Empire. He was
I
in
get
a
it.
wheelchair. He was in a wheelchair.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like back in the '60s.
I don't know. I remember the first X-Men movie when he was like, "This is Storm, this is Cyclops." He goes, "What do they call you? Wheels?"
Yeah.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, like a lot of people
died.
a lot of people won't choose a specially abled,
Daredevil. I got a blind guy on there.
That's
and I agree with that 100%.
Which-
but the perception is that like he can essentially see,
It's
but
echolocation.
Homeboy's not walking.
So you know what?
know?
You know why Daredevil has never fought alongside the Avengers? Because he can't work with Vision.
Oh, jeez. I feel like the
glad- I'm
additional
glad
dad
that
joke.
I got to
joke
get
came
that
out.
out.
Yes.
I had to get that one out. Sorry.
I like it.
All right, our top 5
Wow.
was brought to you by Chad's shirt
Chad shirt.
I thought it was Mike because he's a sexy bitch.
And me. 'cause I'm a
and
sexy bitch.
Mike.
Yeah. Both. We have 2 sponsors
you
today.
go.
There you
We
go.
have 2 sponsors today.
There you go. So, anyways, we
What you're pointing to me?
today our topic is going to be,
About sexy bitches.
Why?
and also
Why first responders are assholes.
why for
Was it just a
no,
call?
don't cut me off. Man.
Oh,
Put
sorry.
that- put that one back on.
Back on.
Male loneliness. Wow, this sounds like a feminine hygiene commercial, doesn't it?
You're trying to keep a straight face.
I really am.
I applaud you
I'm
for
doing
that.
a pretty good job.
Can
Okay,
I?
we're good.
Okay, we're good.
Yeah.
Are they going to hear that on the video?
They sure are,
Hell yeah!
because the audio goes straight from a this-in to that-in right there.
Technology's great.
Okay, so we did want to talk about male loneliness. We do have a focus on men's mental health, as we are 3 dudes, sometimes 2 dudes, today 3 dudes. We wanted to talk about male loneliness. This is a topic that was brought to us by Mike today, and when Chad mentioned it to me, I was really on board, because when you think about it, it's like, oh man, and I think as men, when we get older, this happens a lot more. And when you're younger, you're in college, you got a million friends, you're always doing something, you're whatever, but once you're wifed up, husband up, or no longer, or dating, whatever. I mean, a lot of these things come back. A lot of these things present themselves. And so, yeah, male loneliness, and maybe Mike, you can kind of speak on,
Yeah, and it just seems harder to make friends sometimes as we get older, right?
Right.
So I'm going to throw out a couple things to start with. I am super not an expert. Any of these opinions are my opinions. I did take some, I've got some notes here that I got from, newspaper articles.
Yeah.
There was a good article in the LA Times by Jean Guerrero. And then there's also
Love Jean Guerrero.
Right? Isn't
She's the best.
I was
Jean
gonna
Grey?
say,
No
aren't
idea
they
who that
great?
is.
Because it could be a guy named Gene. I don't know.
Well,
is it G-E-N-E
Jean
or is
Guerrero.
it J-E-A-N?
Yeah.
Yeah, so probably a lady. Probably a lady. But we don't want to,
We don't want to
don't
assume.
wanna judge.
We
We don't
don't
wanna assume.
We listen. We don't judge.
Yeah.
But then there was
Out
also
loud.
a 2021 survey that some of this stuff.
We'll
comes
start
from.
with the survey. Let's.
Yeah, but I'll bring up my
throw out
notes
some
here as well.
Stats, right?
Yeah, let's throw out some stuff and let's discuss as we go through.
So 48% of men reported feeling satisfied with friendships.
Less than half.
Less than half.
Less than half are is that the amount of friendships that they have, or the quality, or
quality.
both?
Satisfied with friendships.
Okay.
Okay, so that could be the quantity and or
quantity.
quality
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
those
Absolutely.
friendships.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny because I think sometimes that is self-inflicted. I think sometimes we choose to
Wall ourselves
wall
off.
ourselves off, and
Absolutely.
I think that's definitely a defense mechanism because we talked this about a couple episodes ago about the male traditional male role of being I am the macho man
Yeah.
and
Man up.
man up
Yeah.
and I don't want to show any signs of weakness. And so we just say well, I've got problems. I can't bring this to my friends or anything like that because I'll be seen as weak.
Yeah.
And so we just say, okay, wall up. I'm just going to shut myself in and not deal with this.
Yeah.
Also, sometimes too, when we do bring up those problems, it's weaponized against us.
100%.
Yep.
Or used to help diminish us or lower us down. And so we purposely just say, you know what?
Wall goes
up.
up. Wall goes up.
Not dealing with
and
this.
like a lot of times we say as a society that we value emotional honesty and emotional vulnerability in men, but then
we don't. They don't.
Do we treat the people? We devalue men that show their emotions.
Well,
right?
I think society does that as a whole. I think that and a lot of this is I will say that if give it to Gen Z and Gen Alpha for being for not embracing that stereotype. This is a very much Boomer Gen X kind of viewpoint. And as someone firmly in Gen X, it's getting better. That being said, I find this not now in my current situation, but I have found it in previous situations. That women have a lot of societal expectations on men, and a lot of this is not a men. I mean, there's a lot of the whole alpha male bullshit, and they'll look down on those guys. But a lot of women, want
also look down
a
on
leader
that
have feelings.
I think it's society in general. It's not men are doing this to men. It's society is doing this.
Society.
Yeah, it's all sides of it, right? What I will say is that I noticed out of college that your friend group is largely determined by where you work.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, when you think about it, it's, you make friends there. Now, I have a lot of friends that, I met in networking groups that but I will tell you, there's the statistics that I was reading is that most men have less than 6 good friends.
Right.
Yeah. Less than 6 good friends. I mean, that they do anything socially with. And I'll tell you, Chad, other than you, I probably have 2.
I'm in the top 3.
Yeah.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
And realistically, you and one other that you actually met, Kevin. Right? You met Kevin at karaoke the other day.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Seriously, I don't hang out with a whole lot of people,
Dude, it made me look bad singing karaoke. That's all I can say.
And it's one of the, but realistically, it's one of those things where I'm in my late 40s, and aside from my significant other, I try to make time for my kids and my friends and stuff like that. But man, I want to see if any of your statistics that
So there is this statistic on that. Let's see. 1 in 4 of younger men say, 1 in 4 of men younger than 30 say they have no close friends.
Yeah.
1 in 4.
Yeah, it's so true. And I think a lot of this now has to do with they're working 60 hours a week. They don't have any free time. That's probably a lot of what's going on. The large complaint is that they can't afford a house now because, whatever us old people did, to ruin it, for them. But and
I think a lot of that too is the culture of everything is done online now.
So that's exactly what I was going to ask you.
There's some of that in here too.
Because I was going to say,
God, it's almost like we're good on this subject.
I know,
not
right?
Experts.
But what I was going to say is that there's got to be some statistics that you have there that say okay, well, I may have 3 or 4, maybe 5 friends that I could call and hang out with. With a fair amount of planning because we all have lives, right? But I will tell you that there are 50 people that I interact with on social media that I could send a quick message to and get a response within a reasonable amount of time that may be willing to talk to me on occasion. So I think, but that contributing to loneliness because I'm not getting the connection that I need in terms of a loneliness, I need the physical.
There's a big thing to be said about physical touch, right? The oxytocin that it produces, the experiments in the 50s where they were giving primates all of the basic life necessities, but they did not have any kind of touch comfort.
Yeah.
And those primates that just did not do well, right? The Iron Maiden that they would feed them from. And then instead there was this rag that they would feed them with and they were way more well-adjusted, right?
Interesting.
Physical touch is a thing that people being starved of physical touch is a thing.
It's so true.
It's huge.
Yeah. It's so true.
And
hug your buddies.
Hug your buddies.
Seriously.
Yeah. I was going to say, when you look at the love languages, most men, their love language is physical touch.
Yeah, and it's because we weren't brought up that way. You know, like our dads wouldn't be hugging us all the time, and moms would, but it's a different kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right.
What I was going,
but also, I'm going to throw out there is
Okay.
the way that we were raised, and homophobia is a huge
Yeah.
issue, right? Because when we were young, being gay was the worst possible thing you could be. And if you were physically affectionate with a friend, what were you? You were gay.
Well, and how about this? I don't know if this
ridiculous is that.
There was the bro hug. You remember the bro hug when you'd like
it had to be the hand in between
and then like
two pats.
and then two pats.
Yeah.
Okay, so how about
and
this?
like you
I
were
don't know.
both kind of turned to the side and outward,
Right.
so you couldn't, like
So
but
to
that's
take
the
it
thing.
one step further with that stereotype and everything, with that was just the worst thing possible. If you and a friend would go to the movies and you were dropped off at the movies or something like that,
Man
did you
space.
sit right next to them?
Man
Nope.
space.
You sure didn't.
No.
There was
Man
a seat in
space.
between you.
Because our society again has like socialized us that way.
Yeah.
That is the worst thing that we could possibly be is gay.
And what a contributor to loneliness, right? I mean, like
100%.
So there was something I was going to say because you said hug your buddies. I want to bring this up because I'm not sure if it was Jay Shetty, or Simon Sinek that said, well, number one, there's the 8-second hug sort of thing, like to refill.
Right.
But there was, if you want to do your friend or your significant other or whoever a favor, hug them until they break.
So what's funny is I was
Until
just
they
thinking
break,
about
until
this.
they break the hug.
So-
because they may want a longer hug, but if you break first, they're not getting what they want from it. So wait until they break.
So I was just thinking
Hopefully
about
they're
this.
not also doing the same thing.
Right, because then you'll just really be just holding in each other's embrace.
Yeah,
for
then
a
you
really
got a
long
game
time.
of gay chicken, right? No, I'm totally kidding. I'm totally kidding. Don't
He is
cancel
kidding.
us, please.
Don't cancel us.
Okay.
But no, I was just thinking about this.
I'm married. We've adopted 2 kids. And I don't know when this thing's going to end.
You're living in Vermont, antiquing on the weekends.
We got a farm. I mean, I don't know, man.
So to bounce off what you just said, I will give Disney credit on this one, but they train their characters to not break the hug of the child until
they break.
breaks it.
Yep.
And it's interesting when you watch those videos. Like I can't watch those videos and not cry, which is weird because I'm like, this random little kid is hugging Stitch, and like it's just so super sweet. But yeah,
You cried because of Stitch?
a little bit.
Okay.
I actually cried at that Stitch movie, the live action.
You're like, because it sure doesn't happen with Jasmine. No, I'm just kidding.
yeah. We'll leave that one alone.
Okay. Okay.
Where were we? Homophobia.
Homophobia.
Bad.
Well, I think the other reason too why a lot of men don't have a lot of close relationships is because one, when you get to a certain age, and I can say this as somebody who's getting in the mid 40s, like men want peace. They don't want drama. And sometimes, like when you have a lot of friends, you also have a lot of drama.
Well, I will say,
And it really depends on the friend group.
Yeah.
I will caveat
I 100%
that.
agree with that, but I also say I think that there's probably a fair amount of alpha dudes out there that thrive on drama, that will start shit.
I think
Right.
people in general, there's a lot of people out there that thrive on drama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They really do. I mean, like if you never know some people out there that they don't have anything to bitch about, they'll put rocks in their shoes. Those people.
Right?
Yeah.
I feel like those are the same people that will start some shit just so that there's something to talk about.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I like that.
Let's go back to the stats.
Okay, back to the stats.
Stat next stat.
Since 1990, the share of men who lack a single close friend quintupled to 15%.
That's a big
crazy.
word.
Yeah.
Quintuple.
Quintupled.
Yeah.
Gubernatorial.
And again, like we had already hinted at with the retreat to virtual spaces, right? Nearly half of American men say their online lives are more rewarding than their offline lives.
You know what? I fucking hate my online life. I rely on it for business and stuff like that. But let me tell you, I would much rather not do it.
Yeah, and I don't want to sound because obviously we sound like old boomers.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, these kids and their internet.
Goddamn internet.
Right. It's the
That
internets
Google
that are
machine.
ruining the world. I'm just saying, like, again, like we had already said, we need actual physical contact.
Yeah.
We need in-person, face-to-face
Right.
friendships.
Right.
Yeah, 100%. And it's, I mean, I can't tell you how much this podcast has done for my mental health just in and of itself. Just being able to hang out with you and then Mike a couple times once a week. I mean,
It's the highlight of
holy
my
crap.
week.
I'm realistic. It's totally
one of the
is,
highlights of
because
my week.
It's one of the highlights of my week because I get bro time. I get to talk about stuff that's difficult to talk about in a very public forum, which is very, very cathartic.
Oh yeah.
And it's just, time to hang out. It's time that it's like,
and it's a safe space to where
Well,
I don't feel like you're going to judge me, and I'm not going to judge you for
and
whatever we're going through.
With all due respect, I mean, Mike, I have to say it's only the second time I've met you. I don't know if you're married, single, with someone. I don't know. Chad, you're married. I have a significant other. It's just a different kind of time. It's a different kind of quality time than when you have with your guy friends.
well, and I think I know a lot of people that they put everything onto their like partner, right?
Yeah,
like where
totally.
They expect their partner to like fulfill every physical, emotional, social, sexual need, right? Like that is completely unrealistic.
Yeah.
To expect that your partner is going to do all of those things for you.
And I will tell you, I've been relying a lot on Chad for my sexual needs. He hates it.
you know-
You're
he hates it.
welcome.
But I rely on it a lot.
Sean actually makes a really good big spoon.
Again, we're not judging here.
We
we
listen,
listen, we
we're-
don't judge.
and we're not homophobic, so we're
Well,
good,
look how close
right?
we're sitting right now.
Yeah,
There's
for sure.
There's no seat for the Holy Spirit in between us right now,
For sure.
says the Jewish guy.
No,
Wow.
I just yes.
We're going downhill fast.
I
on
know,
that
but
one.
it's so
But
great.
it's okay. It's all right.
I agree that hit that button.
Please don't cancel us.
Please don't.
Please don't cancel us.
Cancel
We're
us.
having a great time.
We're having too much fun.
Okay.
Yes, I am married, by the way.
Okay. Well, there's
she's great, and I
Carrie's awesome. She's unbelievable.
she is amazing. I forgot to mention, by the way, that I'm coming at this from a place of great privilege, by the way, because I have a job where we foster fantastic friendships. I go into work and hug everybody there.
Yeah.
Like, there and then I come from a family like my wife and my kids. I'm allowed to be vulnerable with them, right? And it's completely like I say, hey, male loneliness is a problem while I am not suffering from that problem, right? Like I have quality friendships and I have all that stuff. So I forgot to mention that. By the way.
That's okay. We still love you.
Good.
I work from home, so I have to hug myself a lot, and my kids, and my kids, which is good.
Which is why he comes to my office a lot.
There you go.
I'm like, hey, Chad, can I drop by for
Chad.
a quick hug, please?
Chad,
Swing by.
I have
swing
some
by for a
Taco
hug.
Bell nuggies. Can I come by for lunch?
Yeah.
Shit, all right, dude.
I'll bring the mild sauce. Can I get a hug?
Yeah,
Sean,
of
what
course.
you were saying about this podcast being awesome, I actually have a quote in here. Do you guys know who Brene Brown is?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah. So Brene Brown talked about vulnerability, right? And she says, vulnerability is not a weakness, but rather the core of courage, love, and belonging and joy. It is the birthplace of connection and the catalyst for personal growth and meaningful experiences. And when we are allowed to be vulnerable, we make connection.
Yeah, it's so true. And I'll be vulnerable now by saying I normally do therapy on Tuesdays. I had to reschedule yesterday. My mom had some health stuff going on, which I won't get into, but I was pretty much by her side the last couple days. Everything is good, so that's a positive. But I had to reschedule to today, and today one of the topics that I have was one of the things I wanted to talk about. It kind of applies to loneliness because I suffer from some abandonment issues, which contributes to loneliness, right?
Yeah.
And one of the things that I need to kind of get over is we were talking about before the show, like how I overanalyze things and like I will pull someone else's attitude out of a text message. It doesn't matter who it is, man, woman, child. It doesn't matter. I will pull the message that I thought they said out of something, even though it's completely incorrect. Yeah. Right now, that being said, the vulnerability issue that I have with that is when sometimes I do not, no matter who it is, it could be significant other, it could be Chad, it could be you, could be my mom. It doesn't matter who it is. Sometimes the vulnerability issue strikes with me when I need to confront that topic because I don't want to ruin the relationship that I have with this person. So sometimes convincing myself that there is nothing wrong, which when there is nothing wrong is the best way to solve it, even though I really, really want to ask. But sometimes I feel like it's just going to cause more harm than good.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah, I'm just saying be vulnerable with your friends, right? Like, be like, if we are wanting to make connections and make connections that last and are meaningful, then we have to be vulnerable. We
Yeah.
have to
Right.
be able to cry. We have to be able to share our emotions. We have to be able to do those kinds of things.
Right.
I feel like I'd be a great actor because I can make myself cry on command. I will watch some of those military coming home videos,
dear
and
God,
I
those
am a
always set
fucking
me
puddle.
off.
I am
Those
a
ones ruin me.
puddle.
Those ones ruin me.
I will ugly cry. Like, I mean, like, man, I had a previous relationship several years ago. I don't, because there's more than one, so it's now several years ago. And this woman was a stone-faced killer. I mean, it doesn't matter what was in that movie. She ain't shedding a tear for shit, right?
Yeah.
And here I am at the end of a movie, and I am like an absolute fucking mess.
Oh, yeah.
And here I am. I'm like, why aren't you crying?
Why
This
aren't
is
you
fucking
crying?
awful. This is so bad.
I cried watching Everything Everywhere All at Once. Like, like there are just some things just
some
I
things that
cried
just
watching
get you.
him win the Academy Award
No,
for
fair.
Everything
Yes.
Everywhere All at Once. You know what I'm
Wow.
saying? Like,
Yeah.
because there's no time for love, Dr. Jones. You know, that guy's so great.
But no, to piggyback off of what you said, when I started this journey, and Sean's been there from pretty much day one, when I started being more vulnerable and talking to especially my guy friends about things, I actually found they were way more supportive than I ever imagined
Yeah.
they would be.
And they probably reciprocated,
Oh, like tenfold.
right?
You know, and guys that I never really would have thought like I would have conversations like that with.
Yeah.
And it was like all of a sudden it was like, oh yeah, no, I struggle with that too. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, no, man, like I went through that a few years ago. Hey, anytime you want to call or chat, like I'm there for you, and vice versa. And it was like, wow, this is really fucking cool. Like just be able to have now I have a network of guy friends that it's like, hey, I can be like, hey, dude, you got 5 minutes for me to just like vent and just share something with you?
Yeah.
And can I work something with you? Can I throw something off the
Yeah.
wall and just see what you think? And it has been amazing to be able to do that and just put down the facade of, oh, they're gonna think I'm weak, they're gonna think I'm beta or simp or whatever. And it's really truly been a blessing. And obviously, putting it all on the internet and the podcast. Like,
Yeah. It's interesting though that you say that because I learned in therapy, and this is something I learned years ago in therapy, but it's such a powerful statement. It doesn't matter who you're talking to. Our humans, our natural inclination is to help people. So when they unburden, our thought is, oh, have you done this and this and this and this? And you want to jump in there and help them because you want to help them. It's not because you're thinking, I'm smarter than you and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
It's because you want to help. So the biggest thing I've learned in therapy, I've been in therapy for 30, 40 years off and on, right? Is the statement, do you need comfort or solutions?
Yes.
Holy shit, man, that changed
is this
my
a
life.
listening problem or a solving?
And I will
discussion?
tell you, I mean, it's like, and sometimes if I need to talk to someone, hey, I need comfort, not solutions,
Right.
and I open the conversation with, can you just, I just need comfort, not solutions. And then at the end of the conversation, I'm like, so what do you think? And then, then it's time for them to provide solutions. But it's
Oh, sorry, I was just listening to you. I wasn't wasn't thinking
I
about
got
what you
nothing.
But think
told
about this,
everybody. I got nothing.
Like 30 years
Good
ago.
luck with that.
20, 30 years ago, so I had a friend, one of the close friends that I actually hang out with sometimes, who was going through a lot of shit. I won't mention his name, but I never in a million years could imagine a conversation. And he sent me a picture, with basically a meme, but it's not really a meme, that says, I will never forget those who came with a lamp when I was in the dark. Could you ever imagine sending your friend something like that when you were 19
teenager.
years old or
Right.
anything like that? Nope, you were never vulnerable like that. And so I appreciate what society has become now. I appreciate that any pioneer, any person who was, able to allow us to come out there and say, vulnerable shit. And,
Yeah,
yeah.
Love it.
love it.
All right.
Next one.
Well, so not necessarily a stat, but some of the things that the article brought up on, why we have this male loneliness epidemic,
Okay.
right? One of them is just going to be a lack of purpose, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And this is actually pretty interesting that in the study they said that a lot of people, and especially in online spaces, are retreating to the manosphere. I don't know if you guys
I have not heard that
I've
term, but I
not heard
fucking
of
love it.
So it's like a toxic, misogynistic chunk of online, right?
Yeah.
And
Right.
boys are retreating into the manosphere because like they're seeking
comfort.
purpose in their life.
Yeah.
And this is super fascinating. They're seeking purpose in a changing world, one in which women are outpacing them in school and at work, and boys with progressive views of manhood feel the least purpose in life.
Well, I mean, we are seeing this not to get political, and I'm not going to go there with that, but we're seeing this right now with this whole switch over. You're seeing a lot of new, again, not political. This is just an observation.
Yeah.
The new influx of young conservative men.
Yes, and I am a like I'll get political. let's really get canceled.
I mean,
no,
I mean, it doesn't bother me. I wear it out there, but I don't care.
I'm a very progressive person.
Yeah, same.
But I also see that there is not a lot of space in progressive spaces for men.
Totally.
And that's something that like progressive spaces need to work on. And I'm not like, listen, I'm not saying that we need to devalue women's voices or LGBTQ voices or anything like that. It's just
I think
like,
everybody's voice needs to be heard and accepted.
We need a space for men. And historically, men have taken up way more space. And historically kind of need to sit down and shut up. But we also need a space for people.
Right.
Well, there's a space for everyone.
You can build other people up without tearing everybody else down.
Absolutely.
And well, and that's the whole thing.
Be a place for people that they can be comfortable in a progressive space where you're not just feeling like you're the worst thing in the world. Right.
Because a lot of the progressives have taught, okay, well, you're a man. You're patriarchal, you're misogynistic, you're evil. Because you're a straight white cis male, you don't get a voice.
Right.
You know? And so I think a lot of them are just like, well, okay, well, I don't belong here, so where do I go? And this other group has basically said like,
no, you have all the voice.
You have all the voice. Why don't you come with us and we'll take care of you and we'll make you feel heard and valued and appreciated.
Right. And patriarchy and misogyny, homophobia, all that kind of stuff are terrible for society, but also we need to like and we need to make sure that there's space for everyone.
Well,
right,
I mean, and that's why, I mean, I
100% agree.
It's so hard because in the toxic social culture, and that's just social media and everything, just that in that culture where everyone has a voice and everyone's got a big fucking megaphone in front of their face with their social media profiles and everything like that.
We say into microphones.
Yeah, as we say on social media into microphones.
Sorry.
The irony.
No, it's true though, because but there are definitely
out, by the way.
There's definitely people out there that, you know, sometimes cis white dudes that we, you know, like people don't want our opinion, right? Or like,
but also wait till somebody asks for it.
Well, no, but that's true. But there's a whole thing like, you know, I can be an ally to the LGBTQ community, but sometimes it's kind of like, oh, well, don't speak for us. I'm not speaking for you. I'm just saying I'm there for you. You know, I'm not going to speak for you. I don't know your experience. I don't know what you're going through, right? But I want to try and empathize and sympathize, maybe, you know, at least a little bit, and just say, you know, maybe I don't know what you're going through. I mean, maybe tell me what you're going through, so maybe I can know, maybe I can learn. But if you shout down my throat that I don't know your experience, and you know, then you're not helping anything.
Yeah, and I think that we need to be harder on systems than people, right?
Totally.
Totally.
We need to be hard on systems and be like forgiving of people. Like they're brought up in these systems, and what do you expect?
Right. Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. They're taught a system. They're taught a way of thinking that may not always be good and healthy and correct.
Yeah.
So,
I did want to bring up something else, and I don't know if it's part of the research that you had done before.
probably the
Mike,
next stat he was going to read, because that seems to be how we always
I wanted
operate.
to talk about some of the one of the other reasons for male loneliness is diagnosable mental health problems.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, yeah, I mean, I have a generalized anxiety disorder, or I've got clinical depression, or you know, I've got one of these several things that there are great medications out there for.
But again, men don't want to be a burden on anyone else.
And mental health help is stigmatized.
Right.
Right. You know what's interesting
It's
is
getting less.
It's getting less.
It's getting a lot less stigmatized. But what I will say, what I will say is that there are a lot of ads out there for BetterHelp and Talkiatry and all these different things, but they don't, you know, they're like anyone join, which is great. And there's still like, I wish I could speak it into my into the NSA monitored cell phone or whatever I'm talking about, or whoever puts the ads on my phone, you know,
Sean's FBI agent, listen up.
On Google or Facebook or whatever, that, you know, there's a lot of ads that I'll get, especially the day of and the day after we record this podcast about, you know, talkiatry and BetterHelp and all these different things, right?
Always spying on me.
But there are definitely not enough focused on men's mental health. I don't know of any real groups out there. Now there is I'm gonna tease this right now for people that are watching, listening. I will tease this right now. We are bringing on 2 sponsors. I'm hoping next week that they're going to be solidified. We're able to announce them, recorded promos and everything. So people out there who promoted us, Chad was a great Facebook post. People out there who promoted us, you know who you are. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Now, one of the gentlemen that is going to be one of our sponsors, him and his wife. He has started a group called Men's Night Out.
Yeah.
And now it is definitely not mental health focused or anything like that. It's just a chance for dudes to hang out.
Right.
But it's not centered around that kind of thing. So I think that there is another space locally, nationally for dudes to, you know, hang out, do something physically active, do something where we just sit around. I'm part of this thing called the Late Night Men's Group, and we don't meet, and it's something that one of my friends started, the friend that actually sent me that picture, and it's just for guys. We voice stuff in the Facebook group, which is fine, but like you said, the oxytocin, getting together, you know, hugging, and being able to talk in a safe space and that kind of thing. I think I would love to have a mental health professional in the room for something like that, because let's face it, none of us are. And I
Mike,
think
with all of his statistics, comes pretty damn close.
But what I'm trying to say is that I don't want to be giving really shitty advice to someone.
Right.
And that's where the mental health professional comes in. Now, if it's a Comfort Not Solutions type meeting, maybe that's the name of the group, Comfort Not Solutions. Yeah. Anyways, write that down.
I think
maybe comfort is the solution.
I think there's you know, like support groups that are like headed by, or at least moderated by, mental health professionals.
Yeah. I just don't think that they're promoted enough. I mean, like, you go on meetup.com, you can't find them with any frequency. I think that
there's a lot.
You got to market them out there. You need a marketing degree to get this problem solved. Right. And you need to go on a, you know, Brene Brown has a very, very, very good TED Talk, right? There was a TEDx in Tucson that went away during COVID and never came back. And God, I would love to reach out to someone. I would buy that franchise because they're purchasable and set it up again and talk about that kind of thing. I always contact them. They read the message on Facebook. They never call back. They never message back. Like 2 years ago when I first had this idea, they're like, yeah, we're
thinking about it,
doing some stuff. And then, like, you know, but then nothing happens. But I feel like there needs to be a weekly lecture, discussion, something like that could be set up. And there's a space it could be held. I don't know how to, you know, like, I'd have to workshop that with you guys. Yeah. I just find that, and you can set it up in every fucking town, you know, to stem this male loneliness epidemic.
It's interesting because one of the reasons for the epidemic here is decline in traditional institutions, right? So, like, places that men had to, like, connect are declining.
Like strip clubs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Sorry, gentlemen's clubs.
Oh.
Gentlemen get together. No, but like
they have a good buffet. No, I'm just kidding.
Are you talking about the Moose Lodge?
The Moose Lodge. Well, yeah, absolutely. Moose Lodges, VFWs, churches, right?
Yeah.
Like church attendance is on a decline. And you know, anybody that knows me knows that I am not very religious anymore. Used to be, not really. There was a good chunk of time in my life that I was kind of anti-religious for that. But there is value in it. It just
the sense of community, and,
to a
sense
point.
of community.
I
mean, it doesn't have to be
point.
about the religion. It just the sense of community that you get involved in.
Trade a space for a space that's not great, right? Like if we're saying we need to promote these traditional institutions, it can't be a traditional institution that is misogynistic, homophobic, terrible for men.
Yeah.
Well, and I have tried numerous times within an organization, a religious organization, to bring up some of these issues, and it was like crickets, man. It was
for sure.
it was almost like I was demonized for bringing it up, and like, oh no, you just need to have more faith. You need I was victim shamed in that sense. Like, not that I was a victim, but like it was almost like flipped around. Like, well,
like,
you're the
problem.
problem.
The one that was doing it.
You're the one who has this problem. None of us have this problem. When now all of a sudden now it's like, well, no, I have that problem too. No, I have that problem too. But I'm not going to admit it in a public forum.
Right.
So I see where that's coming from, and I agree.
That could be a contributing factor to the problem, but that's not necessarily the solution.
That's not always the solution.
And we have to face it when you read a lot of, and I haven't read all of them. I haven't probably even read many of them, but a lot of religious texts are not helping the problem either.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They're not, there are traditional roles in a lot of religions, and that's where a lot of this comes from. The people that are heavy subscribers to these religions are the people that are not willing to budge on certain things, and
the homophobia and the misogyny, right? Like that's not coming out of nowhere.
Yeah, so that it's but that's one of those institutions where you feel like there could be some help.
You would think that would be an institution that would support and where you could feel seen and heard.
Yeah. You'd think.
I think it's interesting that sociological statistics that say that like right now, the rise of the nuns. I don't know if you guys have heard of that, but people that are not nuns, N-U-N-S.
I was going to say, go on.
N-O-N-E-S?
Yes.
Nuns.
So people that don't have any kind of religious affiliation, right? So a lot of people like that stat has been spiking for years.
Sure.
And it's kind of leveled off, but they're finding that more young men are participating in religion and young women are not. Which, again, speaks to that like loneliness and trying to find a place.
They're trying to find a place where they can fit in,
where they can find connection.
Right.
Yeah.
Even if it's not a good connection
and purpose.
Connection and purpose. Yeah. I going back to the why. Sorry. I think that right there solves a lot of problems for a lot of people, is knowing your why and finding your why. And Simon Sinek talks a lot about this. He has a great book.
But why and what? But defining your why in what situation, though?
And I think that varies on the situation. Because what is your why? But I think once you figure out the why, you figure out the how. And the how doesn't always necessarily matter as long as you're getting that help. But I think a lot of people, especially young people, don't have a why. They don't have a direction. They don't have a purpose.
Well, it's okay. Well, let me expand on this. I'm going to get emotional talking about this because you mentioned something earlier, like knowing your purpose and that kind of stuff. I just turned 49. I have no fucking idea what my purpose is, and that's sad. I really don't. I'm a great dad.
I think you do know your purpose.
I think I'm a great partner.
I think you do know your purpose.
I don't. I will tell you. I feel like this. I feel like this is part of my purpose. I feel like I could do more. Let's put it this way. People that know me would say that I would make a very, very good public speaker, that I could take this show out on the road. We could do this, you know what I'm saying? And maybe that's what it is. But I will tell you, beyond raising good kids and being a good partner, that's enough, right? I did a good job.
I was going to say.
But I'm saying enough. That's enough, but I feel like I could.
Your purpose doesn't need to be the grand ruler of the world.
No, but it doesn't have to be the grand ruler of the world. But I feel like I could be. I don't know. Like I feel like when people talk about their purpose, it's like, why are you here? Like what?
Right.
Like what did the universe set you out? To put you out here to do? And like some people would bring God into it, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But for me, I feel like it's more than just raising good kids and being a good person. Which is great. Don't get me wrong. I'm not discounting that at all. I'm really not. But I feel like, I know over the hill used to be 40. I feel like it's 50 now because I have a 108-year-old grandmother. Well, she will be in a couple weeks. You know what I'm saying? So but I really feel like I have not found that, or if I did, I haven't explored it enough to really say that I'm living that or fulfilling it.
Yeah.
Right.
I think that you can have purpose in life without having a overall, why am I here purpose.
Well, that's different between having purpose and having a purpose, right? There's more of a noun versus adjective versus verb.
Right. But I think that, having purpose in life, just having things that you are.
Oh, sure.
Is the important part, like knowing all of the grand questions in the universe.
Yeah.
Right. Like a lot of these young men, when I say they don't have a why, they're not in committed relationships.
Right.
Which means they're probably not likely going to have kids. They're not raising children.
Yeah.
They are in meaningless dead-end jobs that really don't give them fulfillment, like other than paying their bills. You know, so like when I say they don't have purpose, I'm not talking like my purpose is to change the world. Like, no, your purpose, sometimes like my purpose is like, I want to be a good husband and father, and I want to help as many people that are going through something that like similar to what I've gone through and am going through.
Right.
That's also another purpose. Like you can have more than one purpose, but I think don't discredit yourself by saying you don't have a purpose, because obviously we're helping people, man. Like, why do you think Mike keeps showing up? It's not because we're sexy bitches.
It's
FaceTime.
I mean, that's part of it.
It's all ego. FaceTime.
It
Wants to be
is.
on camera.
Yes.
I know.
I mean, when you have a mustache like that, you show it the fuck off. Okay, you show it the fuck off. You don't keep that a secret.
But I think you're being too hard on yourself by not giving yourself
I get it.
the ability to say that is a purpose, that is a value. Now, whether you do that 24/7, 365,
no, and you
doesn't
don't
need to be
no, and you know it's kind of like it doesn't
but
have
having
to be
something that you get excited about, something that you have like you have meaning. You're wanting to go and do something to advance either yourself or others. I think that could be your purpose.
Okay, well let's you know, I feel like
Not that
we're
I didn't mean to
moving
put
away
this
from
on
male
you,
loneliness,
but
but let's dive into that. I'm like, my brain just froze.
that's okay.
I didn't even
Brain
have
farts.
anything cold. I just had a brain freeze, and I'm just
Brain
like
freeze
a brain
is all.
fart or
It
whatever.
happens.
Yeah.
Brain farts happen.
But like, okay, so let's just say that bringing attention to something, being a good friend, being a good person, helping people out, that kind of thing. My goal with this is to kind of, you know, dip into my experience with mental health and that kind of thing, and bring it to a lot of people. It is cathartic to get it out and to get it out there in public and everything like that. But if I only get to do that once a week, I feel like maybe I could be doing it more.
And that's fair.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I know it's always out there, so maybe I could be doing it more. But everything else, I don't want to say is in the way, but we have lives, right?
We have lives,
Oh, yeah.
and I'm not. And again, I don't want you to feel like, or anyone to feel like, just because you're not doing your purpose 24/7, 365, that you're a failure.
Right.
Like, yeah, we do this once a week, but like, how many times in the week do people come back to this podcast and listen to it? How many times do people like, you know, go seek out other help and seek out other similar venues of this? And maybe we just inspired somebody to go get help, and then okay, you know, now they're listening to us once a week. Now they're listening to other people multiple times a week. Maybe now they're actually in therapy and they're getting help once or multiple times a week.
Yeah, maybe.
You know, so
maybe
we're the ripples in the water, man.
Okay.
Like, we were the initial little pebble, and we just can't see all the ripples and how far they go.
Yeah,
So,
we are the rock skippers.
That should be the other name of our podcast. The
rock skippers.
No, I like our name.
Yeah.
Because we are a clusterfuck.
Tell me about it. We talk about 17 million things on every single podcast.
Right.
But I
Now,
think
we're very focused on this one. I will say, like, we've
actually done a really good job on this one. But I think that purpose, finding a purpose or multiple purposes, I think is what a lot of men are lacking.
Struggling with meaning and purpose.
Yeah.
And what
absolutely.
I will say is that I would like to have a purpose to find more porpoises.
Yes.
Bumblebee tuna.
I'm going on vacation next month, and I'm hoping to see some dolphins because I'm going to Florida.
Nice.
And I heard we're actually going on this. It's not, you know what? I think they changed it. It's not like a pirate cruise. We're going on like a sunset cruise sort of thing where they guarantee you see dolphins. So I'm kind of excited.
That's
Nice.
cool.
Dolphins are fucking rad.
They are.
They're cool.
All right, moving on.
Moving on.
Moving on. Let's see. Boy, we've hit a lot of this stuff just randomly and
Well, which is good because you know we're getting near the last quarter of the show.
Yeah.
So, but anything else that we can bring up, or did we kind of cover it all?
just things that we can do, right? Like things that we can do to foster connection in other people.
Let's talk about that. How rubber meets the road.
Perfect.
Like,
and I have a whole bunch on that right
what
here.
do we
as part
do
of my
with all
stuff,
this
so, yeah.
information? Like, we recognize it's a problem. How does one go about fixing it?
Great question.
That was rhetorical. I wasn't looking at you to solve
I got
it.
nothing.
I got
I'm like,
nothing,
Mike,
guys.
solve
No.
it. Come on,
Yeah,
man. No,
I
I'm
don't
just
know.
kidding.
No, I mean some of the stuff that we've already brought up, right? Like vulnerability, be vulnerable, and let other people be vulnerable with you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So this one, I have a few things here in terms of overcoming. One is try joining a club or a sports team, so mutually shared interests may bridge the gaps and spark conversations that might develop into meaningful relationships.
Right. Find a hobby.
As you connect with others in these new circles, it's important to be open and willing to share your emotions. Vulnerability can encourage others to reciprocate and deepen the relationship. So I think that's awesome. The other one, I love this one personally, is prioritize self-care.
Yeah.
Big into self-care. I mean, it can really address the mental and physical health aspects that loneliness significantly impacts. Prioritizing self-care of yourself by doing small things that rejuvenate you. So try focusing on things like regularly exercising to boost your mood, developing better sleep patterns, eating well, maybe a little mani-pedi here every once in a while. You know what I'm saying?
Treat yourself.
Treat yourself, right?
Treat yourself.
Yeah, so like these things play a significant role in maintaining emotional balance and ultimately reducing the feeling of loneliness.
I love that.
Yeah.
I literally, before, like the couple hours before we were here, gave myself a pedicure.
I like the orange.
There you go.
Right?
I need to get you some lime green for pillar to post.
I've got some, not the right lime green.
I got to get you some lime green.
Okay.
I did. I think it was around, this is probably 3 or 4 weeks ago, went and got a pedicure.
That's the best.
Man, I'll tell you, like, you know, I don't want to give any free advertising, but this place at Swan and Skyline, we'll just name the intersection as a place that does fantastic pedicures. Just gonna throw that out there.
I'm very ticklish, but I
Me
worked
too.
I
But it
worked
worked
through
great,
it
yeah.
because it's amazing. Yes.
Yeah. You know, getting professional help is the biggest thing in terms of ending mental illness. Get professional help. If your chronic loneliness is too much, it might be time to seek professional help. Therapy and counseling provides tools and tips to help manage your emotions effectively and successfully. I went this morning. You know, I can't talk it up enough, man. It's just so important.
I go every other week.
Yeah.
I was going weekly.
Yeah, I mean, so there are different types of therapy. Some people do well with EMDR. Some people do well with cognitive behavioral therapy. Some people do well with internal family systems. I had not heard until January. I had never heard of internal family systems before.
Yeah.
I have now met my therapist is not. They're not big on really any one genre of therapy. They kind of participate in a lot of different things. But I met an internal family therapist, and in talking with him just socially, I will tell you, first of all, as a clinical hypnotherapist, a lot of the things that they talk about in internal family systems mirrors a lot of stuff in hypnotherapy, parts work, and certain things there. There's a lot of bridging
Reparenting.
that, yeah. And it's pretty amazing. So my whole point is, you know, we'll beat this drum every single time. Get the help that you need.
Professional help too.
Seek professional help.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with it.
Listening to
at
us
all.
is great. Don't get me wrong. We are not
We
professionals.
are not the only thing you should be doing.
You know, it's so funny because like at one point I was
Well, if you have nothing else,
But if you have nothing else,
right? If you don't have
This
other
is good
resources,
avenue.
Yeah.
If you don't have other resources, seek out these kind of resources.
Yeah.
Right.
Seek out mental health podcasts.
It's free.
Seek out stuff online.
Yeah, it's
Right.
free.
Find stuff.
Find
that
something.
will- like if you can't get professional help because of finances or lack of insurance or whatever else, find something.
there's free avenues out there,
Yeah.
and there's things that you can do to help better your situation.
There
And
is this wannatalkaboutit.com is a big one. It's WANNA talkaboutit.com.
a step in the right direction is still a good thing.
Yeah.
No matter how small.
Yeah, you know, and let's face it. I mean, you may think that there's no friends out there. You may think that there's, you know, there's plenty of help out there. You have to find it. Sometimes it's very hard to find, but you know, you ask for help. You know,
Right.
like, and it's one of those things where like I can't find it. I can't bring myself to do it. Ask someone else to help you. There are people out there that will help you.
Right. And just because you go to one thing and you try it once and it didn't work the way you hoped and
Yeah.
thought it would, don't give up.
Yeah.
Don't give up. Keep going. Try it a few more times. Try something else. Like, just don't quit. Like, whatever it is that you're trying to do.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many avenues, and you'll find the right people. You'll gravitate to the right tribe, to the right group of people that are going to allow you to be vulnerable and allow you to help them and them to help you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and throwing it out there too, just other things that we can do. Like, let's try and change the way we're raising our kids, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, we talked about all these societal pressures and all of these things that we have seen with the homophobia and the misogyny and the whatever else. Like, especially if we're raising boys, which I am not at all.
Yeah.
Just
and
girls.
I have two of them.
Just girls, but
I have one.
But like, let's change the way that we're raising our boys. Let's change the way that we're raising our girls to like
respect them, to, treat them the way we want to be treated, and vice versa.
And to make sure that being emotionally vulnerable isn't a bad thing, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
we talked about all of these ways that we've been like socialized. Let's change that.
Let's break
if we
it.
can, as much as we can, right? Like,
Yeah. And
you
it
know.
starts with one household
Yeah.
at a time. It starts with one family at a time.
Yeah.
I'm always reminded of the story of the guy who was like, hey, I want to go out and change the world. And, so he went to the White House, was like, I want to change the world, and nothing happened. And then he was like, okay, well, I'll start with I'll go to the governor of my state, and, tries to talk to the governor. Nothing happens. And, he scales down. All of a sudden he goes, you know what? I can't control the White House, but I can control my house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's where it starts, is in our own homes, in our own
interactions.
Like, how do we talk to our kids? How do we raise our kids? How do we talk to our spouse? How do we talk to our friends and family and coworkers? Like, all of those small interactions that will breed and allow positivity to grow, and it'll allow these things to really take change for the better.
Yeah. 100%.
Like I said earlier, hug your bros, right?
Yeah.
Hug your bros.
Yeah.
And I put this in here as a random aside, but give other men sincere compliments.
Yes. Oh my
Shit,
God.
I love that. I'm glad we didn't end the show
love that.
before that. That's
Right?
fucking awesome.
I'm just going to say, like, most of us as men don't hear compliments that are about ourselves.
I meant that about the mustache. I'm just throwing it out there.
And I love you for it. I super appreciate that.
Yeah.
But, like, legitimately, how many times, like, I bet you both of you, because I know I have these moments in my life where I have received a sincere compliment that changed the way I go through life.
Oh yeah.
Like, people get complimented on a hairstyle and then keep that hairstyle for 30 years
Because
because
person
somebody said, I love your hair that way.
Yeah.
Right.
And, right? Like, give other men sincere compliments.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, let me ask you this: how many people do you meet? And I think this is really frequent. I come across this a lot. That are very uncomfortable with sincere compliments.
Well,
Which is a trauma response, by the way.
But think about this. I mean, like, I know a lot of people that, I will give more than one sincere compliment, and they're like, I know how you feel.
yes, fair. Yes, people do that. But also, like, we're not great at accepting compliments in other ways too, right? Like, if we get a sincere compliment from a woman, now it's like, oh, she's into me. Right?
We think a little bit too much about it.
No, you're not wrong. I mean, like, and there's a lot of times where, like,
That's
you,
why
you
they're
can be
not
taken the
giving
wrong
us
way.
compliments.
Well, it never-
because then we take it the wrong way.
Well, and I think it rarely happens. So when we do get it, it's like, oh man, this
Right?
must be a really rare, important thing. So man, this is really big and impressive to
Which,
me.
if we're going to normalize it, let's start with giving other men sincere compliments.
Right.
Yeah,
And it's funny.
I really like that.
Because like when
I really like that.
when I started doing that, it would, like, the reaction I got was very weird at first. Like, guys were like, wait, what? Like,
Right.
why are you complimenting my hair and my shirt? And like,
Yeah.
oh, you think I lost weight? Like, why are you saying that to me? And I just kept doing it. And all of a sudden now they're like, oh, thanks, man. You look good too.
Right?
And it's totally not weird or homophobic or
Yeah.
anything. Like, it's totally
just-
like, oh my gosh, like,
Just
you noticed.
Normalize it.
Normalize it. There's
I think-
nothing wrong with it.
I think I want to expand on that a little bit. And I know we tend to run long on these, and that's fine. I want to expand on that because
We
there's
do
one-
whatever
there's
the hell
one-
we
no, There's
want.
there's one thing to compliment someone, but I think we also have to paint the other side of that. If your friends are doing something that you don't like, you have to be very comfortable in telling them, speaking up about, like, hey man, like, when you said that,
That hurt.
That hurt. You know, and I know you didn't mean it. You can compliment Sandwich, right? You just say, hey, love you, brother. I really do. I appreciate our friendship. When you said something like this, it really hurt my feelings. And we may think that I'm too sensitive about that. It's just one of those things I'm probably not going to get over anytime soon, and I'm working on it. But
back
for
to that
now,
vulnerability, right?
vulnerable.
and it's just being comfortable with your brothers, your friends, the people that you hang out with, to say something that, like, when you made that choice, it did not make my life easier, or whatever it is. And, it's one thing to compliment someone, right? And you can have sincere compliments in as part of that compliment sandwich, but sometimes we have to be ready to have the difficult discussion and be ready to have that conversation too.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah.
Like, for example, Chad, I really love the fact that you got that cord so that we can do video today.
You're welcome.
But if we're being honest, your salad to go instead of Taco Bell is fucking bullshit, man.
I'm sorry.
And the fact that we didn't get to have lunch today because
we
I showed
didn't do
up a little bit later,
Taco Bell
we
today,
didn't do Taco
man.
Bell
I'm
today,
sorry.
really made me upset.
I've already had Taco Bell twice this week.
And also, I didn't bring cake. Again. This twice that you've invited me to the podcast, and I failed to bring cake.
Son of a bitch.
I know.
You son of a bitch.
Well,
You're not coming back ever. I'm kidding.
Whoa.
I'm kidding.
Next time I'm bringing cake. Dang it.
all right.
You're bringing
And you
multiple
listen to our
cakes.
top 5 list, so you know what cake to bring.
I do.
You know what cakes we like.
If you want to bring a slice of all 5,
Yeah.
we're
going
to have a
Go
big old
for it.
party. Anything else we want to wrap up with this? Because I feel like
Final
this
thoughts.
was,
Final thoughts.
with Jack Handy.
Hug your bros.
Hug your bros, I
sincere
like that.
compliments. I love that.
Wait. Hold on.
Oh, yeah.
Hold on.
Hug your bros.
Hug your bros.
Don't be afraid.
Give them a compliment.
And like a Disney character, don't break that hug until they break it for you.
Get that oxytocin. Give that oxytocin.
Get that oxytocin.
You put that on a t-shirt. Get that oxytocin.
We should do that for the podcast.
I'm going to make
Get that
shirt.
oxytocin.
And then on the back, hug your bros.
Hug your bros. I love it. I love it.
That's a strong message. And we are the 2U's. Today we're the 3U's.
We are the 3U's. Brought to you by the letter X for Professor X, who is number 1 in all of our books. Because he's bald and has a wheelchair. And he reads your mind.
Although it's not a wheelchair.
It is a hovercraft
It's
by the Shi'ar Empire. All right. Are we done?
Yeah, let's all give each other.
Be good to one another. Peace out.
I was like, we need more of the music. Yes!
Oh, that was fun.
Oh, man.
You guys are great. This is awesome.
You are welcome back anytime. We may even bring you on as a